Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I didn't think we could top the Royal Rumble panel, but I think we might have done it because we have some of the most accomplished people, podcasters, just people that I know around to talk wrestling. I love it. We have James Kincaid of literally everything from the United Wrestling Network, APW, what have you. We have Eddy Torres of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast, George Hermoza of the Wrestling Chatter, Chemical Julian, who's literally a chemical engineer, and the real Jack Farmer, who does everything. And one of my favorite NXT kind of post-down shows, Draped in Gold, is Jack Farmer. Gentlemen, it's so glad to have you guys here. We are in Mania Week. We're literally like 24 hours, 27 hours away from Mania Night 1.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we've waited for. This is what we've waited all year to have happen. The biggest week of pro wrestling, and it's all winding down to the biggest pair of shows. That's WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. I'm fired up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the show of shows. And I mean, the fact that we just get a straight week, yes, it's exhausting, but it's so exhilarating as well. You know, were there things I would have changed about how they did the Hall of Fame? Of course, but it's still fun to see those legends get their due, and then NXT stand and deliver. I thought Night 1 and Night 2 both did exactly that, and now we're going to see if WrestleMania can follow suit.
It won't.
I think that's it. That's it. Again, any rebuttals to this?
I just want to add in real quick. We need to make sure to put some respect on NXT UK Prelude. If you haven't checked that out, Walter, great show there as well. Walter and Rampage just murdering each other.
Yes,
that was a good one. A nice hard hitting match. I'm excited for Mania as I am every year, but I feel like we've gotten so much good shit already between Stand and Deliver 2 nights in a row, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. AEW Dynamite was kind of hard to watch this week, but still.
Hot take. I will say, as much as we all say this is a lot of wrestling, come Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to be like, man, I really wish some more wrestling was on. Oh, wait, there is more wrestling on every single day of the week. So I'm all for it. I mean, it is a little hard to not watch, but it's hard to keep up with it at all times. But, man, it's a good problem to have as far as what to watch today. There's a lot of wrestling on today. I guess let me watch it, but it's all good. I dig it. I love it.
To go a little inside baseball at my I guess inside basketball at my other shoot job is that I put in blackout dates for this week. Hey, I'm not available this week just so that I could keep up with everything and actually I took Monday off too just to recover. So
I've turned down jobs. I turned down an offer to go to the Dodger game on Sunday. Nothing else matters to me on Sunday. And now Saturdays. I got something to do set tomorrow. But Sunday, for the most part, WrestleMania Sunday, that's George's holiday. Screw the birthday, screw Christmas, WrestleMania. I'm dedicated to watching usually an 8-hour show, but in this case, it's probably going to be around 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, I can't. Everyone's saying too much wrestling. I don't want to go to your. I don't want to go to your house on Thanksgiving. I don't want to get presents from you on Christmas. I want the more the merrier. Give me so much, I'm stuffed. I want even more. This is great.
Well, you got to remember 2 years ago. This weekend, I apologize to my girlfriend for being a wrestling widow on WrestleMania week because we had Chikara Pro, we had WrestleMania, we had the NXT takeovers, we had Ring of Honor. I mean, there were so many shows all going on at this time, just during WrestleMania week, and Fan Access and Hall of Fame. Now it's really been kind of pared down. There's not as much stuff going on, but they're making it worth our while for sure.
Absolutely, and a run-in. Literally the wizard that is behind all of the Conrad Thompson podcast, V-Genius, Steve Kaufmann has joined us. Steve, welcome to the show.
Oh, okay. Ow, you're hurting my ears, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
We can't hear you, Steve.
You're talking too loud in my ear, Steve.
Too loud. Let's get into the card. But obviously, like you mentioned, we have the NXT UK Prelude, which is awesome. It was kind of weird, right? Because we saw Walter defend his championship, his NXT UK Championship against Thomas. Not bad at all. That was, I mean, that's got to be like the 1B, like, you know, a match of the night.
I love that Walter is taking advantage of them lifting of the travel ban, because for him to be in Orlando and then in UK like 12 hours later, good for Walter, dude. That's a hell of a flight. He probably stayed up the whole time.
I love how they never addressed that. Like on commentary for either show, they were just like, Walter's in both places, and that's fine.
It's
what
Walter.
travel ban?
He did a review.
I'm sure even if there was a travel ban, Walter would just stare down the poor customs agent and then walk his way through anyways. Who's going to stop Walter? He's just going to chop right through you.
Yeah, he'd show a clip of him and Dragunov, just be like, this can be you if you want it to be you. Open the goddamn door.
Yeah.
Well, a point that's been made in the wrestling media already this week, but Triple H on the media call after TakeOver Night 1 specifically said Walter is going to be NXT UK champion as long as he wants. And, and the point that's been, and the only other wrestler in I don't want to say recent memory, in wrestling history that I've ever heard spoken of that way is Andre the Giant.
I'd say Brock Lesnar.
Maybe Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar. I don't think Brock Lesnar ever wanted to be Universal Champion. I think that was just what they needed. They felt they needed to do to make enough money, or make a return on how much money they were paying him. Whereas Walter, I think Walter wants to be NXT UK champion. He wants to wrestle with that belt wherever he wants, and he's just gonna be champion until he wants to. Like, no one's telling him he needs to go on Raw. Yeah. He did that one job at that one Survivor Series. We're all really mad about it, and that's it.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar never wanted to be Universal Champion. He just wanted to participate. He just wanted to be there. Just wanted to hang out with everybody.
He didn't want to lose, though.
He just wanted to be part of the show. That's all Brock wanted.
He just loves the business. He just loves giving back to the business whenever he can.
I miss Brock very much.
I love Brock so much.
Yeah, I wish he was challenging for something on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, he probably
get Brock on Bloodsport and see what's up.
Oh,
I think you just gave, according to Woods, a nice raging,
Oh, I'm in. I'm totally in. Like, literally, what we have, let's have Brock Lesnar versus Josh Barnett. Your battle of UFC champions, Bloodsport rules, not Raw Underground. I'm in. Sign me up. Take my money.
Hey, guys, just remember, going back to Walter real quick, his WWE UK Championship, which was stolen out of his rental vehicle, did finally get returned to him. Some fan bought it off of OfferUp, realized it was the real deal, and sent it back to him. And as reward, he got an authentic replica belt.
He got it signed.
Not like I can tell Walter I'm keeping it. You know?
Now, if only somebody can find that AEW title that they stole from Jericho.
I'll never give that up.
No, never, ever.
That and the Blue Onion I ordered that night.
Yes.
That steak from Claim Jumper, it was so good. It was a great night all around.
I like how there's this narrative that the person returned the title out of the goodness of their heart. It was fear that made them return that title. If I saw I had that thing, I would distance myself from it as fast as I could. That's like finding the mob's money. I wouldn't.
No Instagram selfies at all.
No.
I feel like every week we should just do a Walter podcast. I think there's enough in the goings on of Walter's life. Because,
maybe we can get Walter and Wayne team up together and just go kill everybody.
I'm not against it. Not at all. So I guess, you guys kind of quickly, your takes on NXT TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, Night 1, Night 2. Anybody have any favorites? Mine is Walter, Max is Shirai.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, a thumbs all the way up. I really enjoyed both nights. I think my favorite, and I haven't really seen this floating around a lot, but I thought Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin, that I thought stole the show. I thought they worked a sort of a more old school, if there is such a thing now, ladder match. It was more Sean and Razor than I think we could have imagined. I thought the psychology of their ladder match was top tier. I really, really enjoyed it. And there is no doubt in my mind, Santos Escobar is a bona fide superstar. So I was very happy to see that they're keeping it with him for right now, because the sky's the limit for that dude. He is so good.
And speaking of Legado, my only beef, and this is kind of a weird problem to have as far as like, it's not a bad one to have, but did anybody catch that during the triple threat tag team match with Legado, the Fantasma, they totally pulled out a double Van Terminator from the opposite side of the ring, and it was like not even a big deal. Like here, like 2 years or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, I'm sorry, we had Shane McMahon do it at a WrestleMania, and it was like the biggest deal in the world. Obviously, whenever RVD did it, but then you had two guys do it simultaneously, and it's like, oh, not even like a what a maneuver. It was like, oh, okay, like, am I the only one that marked out for that move? And I'm like, wow, like
it should have been
changed.
Yeah, should have been treated more, like a huge moment for sure.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I have to agree with you though, James. I think Santos Escobar, Jordan Devlin has stolen the week so far. And I think more than that, I think that match is what the future of pro wrestling looks like, not just because these guys are stars, but whenever they try to do Survivor Series or bragging rights and they have brands go against each other, this is what they're really trying to do, to create a real tension of brand supremacy that we saw between NXT UK and NXT in this match, where it felt like it was more than just the Cruiserweight Championship. It felt like it was brand bragging rights in a way. Who has the real champion? To me, this felt like such a big moment and such a big match. And those two just delivered. And I think they're both rock stars. I agree, though. Santos Escobar, big time. He's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, I loved him coming out in sort of the Phantasma garb, a little hint of King Cuerno in there as well, which all the Lucha Underground believers, which I know you are, Jack. I know we all appreciate it. Best suicide dive in the business, bar none. Fight me.
Although I will say,
but not really, because I'm not a tough guy. But.
Although I will say,
fight George.
I will say, is Santos Escobar a babyface? Because it is hard to boo that guy after
Dude,
that.
He came out with his kid, man.
Yeah.
That's a babyface.
And the crowd seemed very much so behind him. And, I mean, I know we're getting a little off the rails here, and this is now becoming from the Walter podcast to the Santos Escobar Legado del podcast here. But his promo that he cut that led to his match with Karrion Kross, he's talking about, you want to come out here with a hot mamacita and stuff like that. Dude is underrated on the microphone. And so when they do decide to make that turn, he is going to thrive, in my opinion.
That group is so cool. Everything about them is cool.
Dripping cool.
Their look, their style, they are something that makes Lucha Libre just seem like the coolest thing in the world. If I could join a stable, that'd probably be the stable I join. They'd never have me. But
you'd be right in there, Joaquin. Don't even. You have precedent for that.
I do have a little bit of precedent.
I think MSK is great. I love those guys, but those belts should have gone to Legado.
Yeah,
that match belonged to them. They've worked for it way longer in NXT. I know MSK has their history outside in the Indies, but in NXT, those guys have been working since with the rebranding into Legado. Like they were just jobbers in the beginning, and now they're legit contenders. And I think it would have been an amazing image to have the Santos with the real cruiserweight title and the the tag titles next to them. I think that should have been the moment. But
especially because I don't think people realize just how good Joaquin Wilde is. A lot of people remember him as Zema Ion in TNA or Impact, but that guy's got a great story too, where it's like he had like a tumor in his bladder. He had to have emergency surgery. Like that guy, I think he almost lost his life. And I think if a lot of people knew,
you lost everyone.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow.
I'm here.
Mr.
I don't know what happened.
Hello. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
That's what happens when you try to talk about something that happened in TNA.
I think that's
that was
exactly
Bruce
what
Richard
happened.
saying we're going heavy on the NXT talk.
So I guess without further ado, and Steve Kaufmann, I mean, your background kind of signals it. We'll get into.
Are you there?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
He's there.
He's in the Thunderdome right now.
Yeah.
He's there. He's there. It is facts. He is there. He uses
I am.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Richard connects.
Ignore the squiggly lines around me. Green screen on StreamYard's not as good as Zoom. I'll say it.
There we go.
Oh. I've been putting StreamYard over hard and heavy. My goodness. But, yeah, well, so WrestleMania Night 1. I don't know the match order, but it looks like one of the matches will be Naomi and Lana versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke versus the Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina in Tag Team Turmoil. I feel that's going to open the show, but your guys' thoughts on it? I really want the second generation kind of deal of Tamina and Natalya to win. I just know that it's not going to happen. The promo with Heyman.
Why not?
Because Vince hates. Okay, we can't have Bulldog go into the Hall of Fame. There's talk of Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith coming back, and what have you, and then like a legacy tag team, not legacy, right? Not that stable. Win at Mania, get the spot. Natalya, anybody that is split with Natalya at Mania is going to get jobbed, and Natalya herself.
How much you want to bet that they're going to win?
Really?
Let's bet on it.
Leave it to George to pick the one match of all of these without betting.
No, it's just one of those things where it's like he's very like, and then you know, you're my heart, Adam. I love you dearly, but you're very like, oh, Vince hates this, Vince hates that. Like we all kind of had that mentality at some point, and we've all been very, very surprised at many times throughout our wrestling fandom. We heard the same thing back when CM Punk won Money in the Bank. CM Punk's in the doghouse, not only wins Money in the Bank and then he cashes in successfully. So if you're that adamant on that they're not going to win because Vince doesn't like them or doesn't want to put them over, then let's bet. I bet you that they will win. Not only will they win, I do think they're going to become champions.
Well, how about this? How about one of the greatest things that we were robbed of, and she was robbed of because of the pandemic? And I'm talking about Dana Brooke and not being able to be Dave Bautista's +1 when he went to the Hall of Fame ceremony. So I think she is due a little bit of a make good here because it seems like they both moved on. We may never know what we could have gotten. It could have been like Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth again. And so I think that her and Mandy Rose should come away with it.
Although I do have an NSFW comment. We have Naomi and Ano. I just ruined the joke. I just ruined the whole joke. I ruined the
that? Yeah.
Let's rewind.
Are we talking about a rear view?
We have Naomi and Lana, right? Naomi and Lana. Spell that backwards. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't put it past Vince to make that happen.
We're all getting canceled. That's it. I'm sorry, guys.
I was gonna say I smell shenanigans in this match, and I think something's gonna happen. I feel like there's no point in adding anything on after that, but I just smell shenanigans in this. I don't think it's gonna go the way it is written out right now, meaning I think that there's going to be another team. I think someone else is going to get involved. I don't know if it's going to be Bailey. I don't know if it's going to be a returning Chelsea Green. I don't know if it's going to be someone else. I get the idea that there's more than meets the eye here. I think something's going to happen if I'm a predictor here. I don't think anyone on the table is going to win this. I think it's going to be someone new.
Do you think? Okay, so the lame version of that, and something that WWE would be more than likely to do, is they think it would be a big enough deal to have both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair come out unannounced, bury the entire tag division just to build up to the following night to have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus the two of them. It's awful. It's lame. But we all know the WWE might do that.
I bet you that they will.
Man, give me the man and Charlotte though. I mean, that's some star power.
No, but it's a hat on the hat. Because why have them in? Why have a whole match?
I don't think. Yeah.
Look, I don't want to get too SJW or whatever, but this whole thing just smells of like they don't give a shit about the women's tag division. They don't care. it's probably going to be a fucking curtain jerker on the pre-show because they don't care about what do we do with the women's title? I don't know. Put them all in one match. That's it. There's no. I don't care. I don't care who wins that match because there's no effort being put into the storytelling for these matches because they don't care about their women's tag division.
Actually, to your point, there were reports as early as like 5 days ago that their plan was to have a giant women's battle royal, and the last two women then challenge Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So to your point, they don't even think they have a women's tag team division. They just think they have a women's division with tag teams.
Yeah. I mean, are they entirely wrong? I don't like. I think I would have been fine with the women's tag team titles being defended on NXT as well. You talk about putting a hat on a hat and stuff like that. I didn't see the need to create a second one when, clearly they don't look like that. Look at their own tag division as sort of being fully formed yet in general. But if you combine between the three shows, then I think you got something.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. We got the women's tag team division. The champions, they're so good. They're taking on the individual singles champions on both shows, showing that no one can coexist against these two. They're an unstoppable force. What are you talking about? It's the greatest pairing of tag teams ever. When have we ever had a tag team champion go against both individual champions on both brands and beat them both? I think they're just incredible.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
So this is why we need to have, considering what we're given, we need to have Natalya and Tamina win this tag team turmoil match, just so Tamina can go against Nia Jax, her old friend. Natalya can match her, wrestling pedigree against Shayna Baszler, and that may be the only way that we'll get a decent match. And I say that because both Lana and Naomi have already been steamrolled by this tag team. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, they're the North Hollywood Blondes. We don't need to see that again. And the Riot Squad, they've gotten run over numerous times. They've had their shots. And I know Tamina and Natalya have been around forever. Tamina is legit. I do not believe she's been given a really good chance to really shine and have her opportunity to be on the big stage. She's always kind of like been an afterthought or an enforcer. You remember when she's in Team Bad. So maybe this will be her chance to get a chance to actually wrestle. Be in the ring and wrestle.
Don't forget, there is a dark horse team though. You got Carmella and Billie Kay, which I think can be money together, maybe down the road. But I don't think they're going to win. But I love that pairing. I love Billie Kay's character to begin with. And I don't know, maybe I just like Reginald, and I think he was hard to replace. But
I think Jack hit on it with Bailey. Honestly, I think she's going to show up with somebody.
Uh-huh.
I think that's kind of the move that's going to be made there. She's going to get involved somehow, whether it's in that match or elsewhere.
Bailey 2 belts, Becky 2 belts. Yeah,
They can't have her not show.
Yeah, and Yasmeet says, unfortunately, it's very true what you guys are saying. They don't put enough effort into the women's division. So there's that, and I also think in terms of the NXT UK, NXT UK, that's where my mind is. But the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, right? The promo that Regal cut when he introduced it, it's like, I'm not waiting for them to do whatever. I'm not waiting for them to care. And I think it was very indicative of the mindset of everything. And I think the people that are in NXT, the women that are in NXT, they would love to go up to the main roster to contend for the titles, but then they're like, oh my gosh, it's the main roster. We know what happens there. It's almost like going into Woody and Buzz going into Sid's house, the first news story. That's essentially what it is.
The last thing I want to say, and Julian with the great name, the North Hollywood Blondes, I would just see that and raise you a Body Dana's, and that's all I got on that. That's all I got.
Yes. All right. So predictions on this one. We'll start with you, James.
For the tag team turmoil one?
Yes.
I'm going with the North Hollywood Blondes. I think with the Body Danas, with Dana Brooke being cheated out of her date with Batista at the Hall of Fame, I think this is the make good. And I think they're underrated athletically. Let's go. Maybe Otis comes out to help them. What's he doing?
Wow, yeah, that's an interesting point.
But really, it'll probably be something with Bailey. I'm actually with Mr. Farmer on that.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, what we got?
Who's in the match again? I mean, I'm gonna say Naomi and Lana. I feel that they put a lot of they're gonna do that Lana and Nia and that whole thing they've been doing forever, putting Lana through a table 100 times. Like, they're just gonna keep that going because that's the amount of effort WWE does for the women's tag division.
There we go. All right, the real Jack Farmer. What you got?
I'm going Bailey, Chelsea Green. I'm gonna go off on a limb here. I think Bailey and Chelsea Green are gonna form a team. They're gonna win the titles, and we're gonna hear ding dong hello. Of course, I'm gonna win a title at WrestleMania.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
I like
Hermoza. There you go.
I'm calling it the second generation / third generation. Tamina and Natty are going to win, and they're going to go on to Sunday Night 2 and win the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania.
Ooh, okay. I want that to happen. And I'm going to take you up on that bet, George. We got to figure out what we're going to do with it. But
Rochambeau.
Rochambeau. Okay, I like it. Steve Kaufmann.
I think of all of the announced participants as of this moment, none of them can beat Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler the next night. Lana and Naomi are the most steamrolled. The Riot Squad are the least steamrolled. I'm going to say Field, but if I have to choose between these people, I would say Riot Squad, because in their head, they think, oh, no one thinks about the Riot Squad. So be like the Riot Squad. And then the Riot Squad can win the next night, and they can have an encapsulated story across WrestleMania.
That's a good pick. People thought that about Iconics, too. Nobody thought Iconics were going to win 2 years ago, but they did.
True. Yeah, absolutely. So, Chemical Julian, what we got for you?
My money's on Natalya and Tamina. Canada, Samoa coming together. The only two people who can actually put a threat to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. However, my hopes are on Becky and Bailey.
Okay.
The Can Sam connection. Can we get that going?
Actually, Tamina's Fijian, so her dad and as the resident Fijian of this podcast, I'm gonna go. Hey, we're a little island, not so much.
I believe the term is Fijianese.
What?
I don't believe you.
No, I don't believe that.
There you go. Now, I guess moving on from this. Again, this is just a match. We'll do this, right? You were talking one good James Kincaid about the make-backs, right? I think make-backs, mea culpas, call it what you will. I think this is the mania of mea culpas, right? I think Miz got a 2-week title run with the WWE title just because, waiting in the wings, we have Bad Bunny. What in the hell is Bad Bunny? I think RIP DMX, but he saw the writing on the wall, much like James Brown was supposed to play Bakersfield, the hardest working man in show business. Saw Bakersfield on the docket, and he was just like, I'm out. And he died literally 2 weeks before. And he saw Bad Bunny getting featured as the rapper at Mania, and he was just like, I'm out. So RIP DMX. But we've got Bad Bunny and Damian Priest against The Miz and Morrison. So
hey.
As a Latino, I'm going to request a little extra time on this one.
Okay.
He's an international megastar. I mean, Bad Bunny is great for WrestleMania. I love that he's involved, and he's involved with the perfect team in Miz and Morrison. I think it gives Damian Priest a nice little WrestleMania debut. I think absolutely he and Bad Bunny are going to pick up the victory. I love it, though. I think Bad Bunny's a great get. Not to put myself over, but the number of messages from, females that do not watch wrestling that have, slid into the DMs and be like, what is this Bad Bunny that's involved with the stuff that you love? Like, it's great for WWE and pro wrestling that Bad Bunny's involved.
100% agree, James. You and I, we're always on the same page.
aChemical, baby.
I 100% agree. I think the fact that Bad Bunny is involved is big wins for everybody. He is such a big star. And seeing him on Saturday Night Live with the title, him winning awards while he's the champion, him doing a great job as well has been amazing. And I agree. I think Miz and Morrison are the perfect people for him to be working with, because if you're tuning in for the first time because you're like, hey, I love Bad Bunny, what's he doing? those are the annoying guys you want to see him punch. This is exactly what they should be doing. And Miz and Morrison are so underrated. We take those guys so for granted and how good they are at what they do all the time, every week. And finally, Damian Priest is going to be such a star after this, because everyone who tuned in for Bad Bunny will be like, now I'm a fan of Damian Priest going forward. So we like to give the WWE a hard time. I think this has been executed perfectly.
I yield back.
Can I?
Yes, go for it.
All right. So I agree with you guys. Yes, Bad Bunny is a good move financially for the WWE. Is it a good move in the overall art, in the over picture of professional wrestling? Probably not. But financially for WWE, great. You got the biggest musical star in the world. He just got a Grammy. Fantastic. But I don't buy Damian Priest, who is a metalhead, hanging out with a reggaeton hip hop star. I don't buy it, not for 1 second.
Does your Spotify playlist have only one genre on it?
No,
I know mine
I listen to
doesn't.
hip hop. I listen to salsa. I listen to metal. I listen to everything. However, I know for a fact the only reason that they are teamed together is because they're Puerto Ricans. And in Vince's mind, it's like, they're brown, put them in the same team. Who cares?
Do you think
Vince is ripping off the bodega is what I'm hearing? Damn it.
Do you think that the original plan was Carlito?
Yes,
Probably.
100%.
Probably. Yeah.
100%.
Oh, I think, I mean, no disrespect to Carlito, who I love, but I think in terms of, putting Damian Priest, a new young superstar with Bad Bunny, I think is even the better move. And yeah, maybe it's not the greatest for the health of, say, pro wrestling, but this is part of the WrestleMania tradition, is bringing in the celebrities, getting them involved. I mean, you go back to the first one. They've been doing this since the event started. And I'm actually really impressed that they had the knowledge and the wherewithal to be like, yeah, let's get Bad Bunny. And certainly some members of the pro wrestling fan base were like, who's Bad Bunny? But the world over knows who Bad Bunny is. So this is going to get more eyeballs on the product. I think that's a great thing overall.
I agree. I think it's a great move. Miz and Morrison, perfect, like you said, Jack. I think Morrison doesn't get enough love. I used to see him out here in PCW Ultra all the time, and Johnny Ultra, and he's the best, man. He was great. Yeah. So and again, perfect also because the Miz has television shows on USA. So anybody that's a USA Network television watcher that's not a professional wrestling fan, they know who Miz is because of that crazy, competition show he did, or Miz and Mrs. or whatever it is.
The real world.
Yeah, the real world as well too. So you're bringing in all of that. That's perfect for entertainment, for world wrestling entertainment. It's great. So I think it's good for them. I'm not hating. I personally don't like Bad Bunny's music. I'll tell him to his face. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I don't buy the relationship with him and Damian Priest. I think that was just like and good for Damian. He needs the rub also. Sure. The guy is a star and deserves to be in a spot like that. But also, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Man, I mean, regardless of his music, I love Bad Bunny's fans, though, and that's all I'll say about that. Lord have mercy.
I will say there's no one he could be working with right now that's going to do him as many favors, Damian Priest, as many favors as Bad Bunny would right now. I mean, if he was in a tag team match against Miz and Morrison and his partner was someone like I love Buddy Murphy, but no disrespect to him. But if it was Buddy Murphy and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison, we wouldn't be talking this long about this match.
True.
But here we are. We're talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. So I think even for wrestling, I think it'll be good. Now, poor Buddy Murphy doesn't have a spot, but I don't know why I picked him out of a hat. I just like Buddy Murphy. I want to see him on
He's been
TV
getting
more.
abused on television lately. How are they bringing him back to Seth Rollins? Are you crazy? Was that months build nothing?
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is win-win for everybody.
I think so too. I agree with you, man.
I think this may open the show as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so,
that'd be good.
So predictions, and I'm gonna go. This it reminds me of Tess's introduction to the WWF audience with the roadie of Motley Crue, supposedly. That's what it reminds me of. The partnership. I'm glad that I didn't know Bad Bunny from anything before this. I'm glad that I don't have anybody in my circle, the inner circle, that knows of Bad Bunny. So shout out to that. So I want Miz and Morrison. Go for it.
Oh, I mean, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest all the way. I would be interested to see what the celebrity win-loss record is at WrestleMania, but I bet you it approaches Undertaker levels.
Yeah. I'm clamoring for Snooki to come back. That was way better than
Unstoppable Force.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Snooki was better than Bad Bunny.
the tone of anger.
I'll see you guys later. Deuces.
Snooki's
I'll be
a different
replaced by
corporate
John Cena
overlord.
now.
The Paramount Network, the Paramount Plus network. That's where you can find Snooki. So we're not going to see her on the Peacock app.
There you go, 100%. So James, you said Bad Bunny and Damian
Bunny
Priest.
and Priest.
Okay, and then Eddie.
I would want it. I would say right out the gate, Bad Bunny and Priest, because what's the point of bringing Bad Bunny over if you're not going to put him over? I guess, but I started thinking about it when you said Miz and Morrison. I'm like, it might be salvageable for wrestling if Miz and Morrison win, because it's like, hey, we are professional wrestlers, and yeah, you're a fan and you're putting in the work. That's great, but we're still better than you because we've been doing this longer. So they should go over technically if you care about professional wrestling. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bunny and Priest win, because they got to put Priest over, and you've spent all that money on Bunny, might as well.
Yeah,
put him over.
There we go. So Jack Farmer, George Hermoza. Oh, got it.
Yeah, I definitely got to go with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. In fact, I'm going to call the shot. I think Damian Priest is going to hit his move, then tag Bad Bunny, and Bad Bunny's going to get the pin, probably on John Morrison. Why not? If I'm going to pick it this far, but yeah, they have to win. Come on, that image of Bad Bunny with his hand held up at the end of a match, going out there into social media, done. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, there you go. And at least this is not for a title, so it's just bragging rights.
You want to know why your statement pissed me off, Adam Woods?
Yeah, go for it.
Because at least Bad Bunny is a professional wrestling fan. So for you to say that, Snooki was better than Bad Bunny, you know what? Shenanigans.
Hey, he wrote a song about Booker T.
He did. The name was called Booker T.
I did not know this because I don't know Bad Bunny.
Neither do I. But I would never say Snooki was better.
And
okay, Wale Mania. Wale.
It's funny. Snooki's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 10 points. Next year. Look it.
I need another beer for that comment.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, Steve Kaufmann.
Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are absolutely 100% going to win. John Morrison is 100% going to take the pin, likely from Bad Bunny, who you're giving a bunch of money to. And if you don't agree with me, I can link you off to the sports book that'll give you 5-1 odds.
Wow. Okay. All right. And Hermoza, I don't think we did an actual pick for you. So, what was your actual pick?
The obvious pick. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. You don't bring in a celebrity to lose. That's Stephen Amell won.
Yeah, but that was SummerSlam, wasn't it?
Still a celebrity.
Same diff.
Oh, well, in that case.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, Julian.
Yeah, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, for obvious reasons, but also, why would you bring up Damian Priest? And I mean, this is really his first storyline, his first angle that he's involved in, and for him to lose would be a total waste. And you know how Vince is with wasting NXT, his track record for wasting NXT talent. So let's break that cycle. We will have Bad Bunny and Damian Priest to win. And like I think Jack said, Damian Priest hits his finisher, tags in Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny makes the pin. Probably on Morrison, but more insulting if it was on Miz.
I think it's going to be on Miz.
There you go.
Bless you.
I could see Miz being that selfless. They made him champion in the last 90 days.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That he could be that selfless. So take a swig of that IPA for the working man.
Maybe you want to take the pin because then you're in a lot more of the still frames and stuff like that afterward. You live forever.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yes.
You're muted, Jackie boy.
So profound. Profound, Jack Farmer.
There you go.
Oh.
Man, you guys, the jokes I was saying, fire. You guys
were killing, bro. You were killing.
They
You just predicted the whole rest of the card.
They were so good. Yeah.
Damn it.
No, I was gonna say, do you really want to be the guy that's getting dunked on by Jordan? Like, do you really want to be the guy that's in all those posters looking like a fool? I don't know if it's worth being in.
Best thing that happened to Byron Russell is the shot. You know,
Where's
I mean, he's still in conversation because of the shot, at least.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
Where's George Murasad? Does anybody remember that guy? Because he had like Jordan's nuts literally in his face, getting dunked on as a 7'7".
And you know what? It was an honor and a privilege for him, I'm sure.
That's what he got. That's how he got my giant.
Tuck your chin next time, kid.
He tells it every
lit-
Thanksgiving the story.
Yeah.
And as they were coming towards me.
All right,
You're so cool, Dad.
All right. I guess, and again, this is like kind of out of order, Jed the Fish style, but I think this might be when we look back at WrestleMania 37 in terms of great matches, which there won't be a lot of contenders here, but I think this will be Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Main event.
I think this will be the echelon of maybe a female Steamboat and Savage, like that. Because they will put themselves. Look at what Bianca Belair has done, right, in her Royal Rumble kind of interaction with Beth Phoenix, WWE Hall of Famer, little bloodied her, right? And then, you know, we play back that clip of Lita, you know, doing that kind of tope suicida and then, you know, scorpioning herself. Well, Sasha Banks has done that. These two wrestlers, they are pro wrestlers, first and foremost. That just happen to be women. They are going to make you know that odds matter, that wins and losses matter. They will give you their all, especially on a big stage like this. So I think this is going to be the match of the weekend. This goes up against Walter and Tommaso Ciampa as the best matches in Mania week that is WWE produced. So your guys' take.
Main event. I think they already announced. Steph said it was going to be the main event of night one. So good for them.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, awesome.
I love it.
Both ladies have a lot of gas in the tank. I think that we're, in terms of athleticism, in terms of work rate, in terms of effort, it's going to be 100% plus. They're both bringing a lot to the game, and they both realize that it is their chance to shine. They have a definite opportunity to put a stamp on the wrestling game for women and women in WWE, and they're just going to give their all. And like I said, it's going to be very athletic and very hard fought. And I'm giving it to Bianca Belair to come out on top.
Although I will say, I think this match is Bianca's, as far as not just wins and losses, but I think this is going to be make or break for Sasha, because if anything that I've seen, and maybe it's a work, maybe it's not a work, but Sasha thinks very highly of herself. And a lot of times, I mean, there's a certain Kendrick Lamar song that I just want to, hey, sit down and be humble, but I get it. I mean, it's part of having the confidence. So this is going to be your time to shine. I got no doubt that Bianca is going to show up, because I've thought Bianca was a star from, I don't want to say day one. I'd say the mid part of her first match that I ever saw at NXT Riverside. I was like, dude, this girl's going to be a star. And I know she can do it because she's been killing it for the last 4 years. Now is your chance, Sasha. So I don't want to see any excuses if this match doesn't do well, but I do think it's going to be one of the best matches of the year, maybe one of the best matches we will ever see from a women's division.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I think the athleticism that they are going to bring is going to be another level. I'm very excited for this match. And sort of to George's point, I feel like this is kind of a match that Sasha has to have to sort of solidify her spot, I guess, in the pantheon, as it were, not currently, but in terms of just her sort of a legacy title defense at WrestleMania. I think it's something that she hasn't done yet. We've all, heard the talk about, how she lost in her first defense a few times and everything like that. So I think it would hurt her more almost to not come away the victor here. But Bianca is just she is a shooting star. She is so good and so ready right now. It really makes it fun because you can't pick them. Each one brings something super special to the table. So it should, I fully expect it to stand and deliver, actually.
And prelude.
Yes. The prelude tonight, too, will stand and deliver. Thank you.
There you go. So, you want to go ahead and make your pick now?
I'm going to go with Sasha Banks. I just have this in my mind's eye, this epic battle, but somehow Sasha Banks, the wily veteran, comes out on top. Bianca obviously disappointed, but is showing respect afterwards. And Sasha knows full well that it could happen again down the line real soon and a different result.
Okay, I like it. Eddy, what you got?
I think Bianca wins, has her moment, has that crazy moment with fireworks and crying and the family. Like, that's a WrestleMania moment. So I think Bianca, I already see it happening. It's kind of that case of, I don't want to disrespect their careers as it is, but it just feels like Bianca is like the next Sasha Banks. And if Sasha Banks wants to show her wily veteran, nature, it's time to put the kid over, I think. I think that's how it goes.
I like it. Jack?
In the world of pro wrestling, there's great wrestlers, and then there are superstars. And Sasha Banks has proven time and again, year after year, she's more than just a wrestler. She is a superstar, and she has been at the top of the women's division for years now, along with the Four Horsewomen. She has been one of the top superstars, rock stars of pro wrestling in the women's division. But what happens is eventually someone new comes along. You have your Conor McGregor, who's a rock star of UFC, and then suddenly Khabib shows up, right? You have your Ronda Rousey, who's a rock star in UFC, and then suddenly Amanda Nunes shows up, right?
Or Becky Lynch.
Or Becky Lynch. You have your rock stars, but then the new person shows up. I think what we are going to see is we're going to see Bianca Belair show that the next generation of superstar women wrestlers is coming. And whenever the next generation comes up, the first thing they do is they clean out the old generation. And I mean, no disrespect to Sasha Banks.
But disrespect.
No disrespect to any of the Four Horsewomen. But I think what you are going to see with Bianca Belair is the start of a revolution in the women's division, with new women wrestlers like Rhea Ripley coming up, with all of this NXT talent coming up. I believe that Bianca Belair is just the tip of the spear to that, and we see it start at WrestleMania when she wins the women's championship.
I like it. I like that. George Hermoza.
I agree. I think it's Bianca's time. I don't think Sasha is anywhere near being done. I think she's got at least maybe 5, 6, 7 years of a career left, which is a very, very long time. But I just think there's just money in Bianca. I think Bianca is just such a star. And I think it'd be I don't want to say mistake. I don't want to sit there and criticize everything that may or may not happen. But I think it would be a little bit of a mistake if they don't continue this Bianca train that they're on.
Not the Braun Strowman train, but the Bianca train.
No, that's a choo-choo train.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Steve Kaufmann, what say you?
I think it's 100% Bianca Belair's time. But this time last year, I thought it was 100% Rhea Ripley's time.
Bingo.
She didn't win. I also think, given that we're doing Rhea Ripley Asuka the following night, we can't have Rhea Ripley win and Bianca Belair win. So the question becomes, who isn't going to win? And I honestly...
You can have them both win, Steve.
No, you cannot.
I'm with Steve.
John Cena and Batista both won on the same night.
That's
possible.
That's not the same.
I'm with Steve, and I think Rhea's going to win, which is why I think it's Sasha, too.
I'm the other way. I think between Sasha Banks and Asuka, I think they feel like they could have Asuka go over more than Sasha Banks.
I actually agree with that. I think Asuka's going to win.
I think it's going to be Bianca Belair, but then I also think it's going to be Asuka.
I agree.
But if it's not Bianca Belair, then I'm going to flop my predictions.
No, let me ask you this.
That was the most confusing way to say you pick.
I
Let me-
Bianca Belair because yes.
Let me ask you this, Steve. You say you can't do one, but can you have Sasha and Asuka win?
No.
Okay.
The other part that we haven't discussed is, with Sasha's, sort of turning to acting a little bit more too, is that maybe she herself wants to step back, and go more that route. She's been using her real name a lot more than she has in the past. So that is something that you can't rule out. And maybe she's ready to sort of seed to the next generation. No doubt about it. I mean, no matter who they choose in this match, I think it's a good decision, and that's a great spot creatively to be in.
Yeah, and I want to add on too. Based on what I said, I'm not implying Sasha Banks is done.
Yes, you are, Jack. Yes, you are.
I've already tweeted it.
I'm just saying.
She is the old generation. AEW should just sign her right away.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm not saying distinct. I'm just saying the weather's getting colder. I'm just
Tony
saying.
Schiavone is already saying it's boss time in his highest pitched voice.
Right.
He's ready.
Oh God, you're right. You're so
Hey,
right.
but you guys remember this. So with Bianca Belair, rising to prominence, being a breakout superstar, unlike when you had Sasha and Ronda Rousey, and you had Charlotte Flair, and you had Becky Lynch, and you had Bayley. This is kind of Bianca by herself. So Bianca goes over, she's got a target on her back, she's got these veterans that she's got to fight, and not only does she have to fight the veterans, she's now got to fight your Rhea Ripley's. Ember Moon's probably going to stay in NXT, but she's going to have plenty of people to go through over the next few months and years. So it's not like she's going to have a lack of competition. And like you said, hey, give Sasha a little time off, go do some more Mandalorian, go do some other acting work, and then when she does her surprise return for SummerSlam or for whatever pay-per-view, you can have Bianca Boss Part 2. You can do Bianca Boss 3.
I don't think that this is the end of their feud, which is another reason why I think it could be Sasha. And this is the question I also ask: what is Sasha's WrestleMania moment? What has she had? That is a big sort of sticking point for me in thinking about passing the torch already, and maybe something that Sasha herself really wants to have is a huge WrestleMania victory moment. I don't know that she has one, does she? Or am I?
I don't think she. I don't think she's got a victory at WrestleMania. But her WrestleMania moment to me is having Snoop Dogg rap you out in front of.
That certainly is very cool. But I do think that they want to potentially give her a very big Mania moment, not just yet kind of deal, and then she can drop it to Bianca at SummerSlam.
I think you think she's been talking to CM Punk. Hey, you
could
need
be
that main event. Hey, you need that moment at Mania.
And I do think it's important to point out too. Julian, you're talking about Sasha, Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, and that this is the main event of night one. Because in large part of the tremendous work that the Four Horsewomen put in and sort of turned a lot of heads and broke through that glass ceiling to now it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter that it's women's wrestling. This is the most important match on the card at a given time. And that's why it's the main event. So there is a part of me too that wants to sort of tip of the cap to Sasha and give her that moment as well.
But that's not how the WWE sees a WrestleMania moment.
Sure.
They think her appearing in the main event, their main event. Yeah. They think that's her WrestleMania moment.
And they're not entirely wrong either. Like, look, it wins and losses. It's predetermined and all that stuff. But it is just something that I have thought about in regards to Sasha and the online chatter so often about her inability to defend said championship has come up a lot. So maybe they want to sort of counter that narrative.
Although on that one point, I do have to say Jim Ross, one of my many clients, he always talks about cash and creative. That if the creative's not always there for you, then secure your bag and make as much as you can. And I can't think of anyone other than maybe The Miz that I can see on this card that hasn't secured the bag more than Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
I don't want to say questionable creative, but against no, I'm going to win all the time. Brock Lesnar, Walter creative.
Sure. No, that's a great point. Absolutely.
Yeah. Did we make all our picks for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one,
I'm debating because there is obviously this big kind of. It's weird because they're at the Raymond James Stadium and it's the Buccaneers Stadium, and we have two ships. If anybody's seen the leaked footage, they're doing a bigger version of the already in place Raymond James Buccaneer ship. I don't know why, but
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, there you go. Come on, it's in the interwebs.
Yeah, like stay away.
Yeah,
I'm just joking.
Well, the thing about it is, if you didn't see that, then maybe you're not getting Mania on the Peacock Network. If you're in North America, maybe you don't have a reception that is good enough to get it. I don't know. I'm just putting that up there. But I think the reason why I put that out because we have Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon. I think somebody's doing a bump off of this ship, and I'm not talking about Lyons and Tony Montana, but I'm thinking it's either going to happen in the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens match, or it's going to happen at the Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon. And you can't be Shane McMahon and go like, no, I'm giving away my crazy bump off of the anything at Mania for somebody else. That's just not going to happen. So I think this is where it happens. I kind of don't care who wins. I just know that that's a spot, and that's it.
Where's the ship? Where is it?
The entrance.
The entrance. So how is he going to do that when it's a cage match?
Thank you.
I think
it's a cage match. I'm with you, Woods. I'm with you, Woods. I don't actually care much about this match.
Yeah.
This build to this match, they've buried Braun Strowman to the point that if he doesn't win, he should never appear on television ever again.
You are correct.
He should be Brigham Strongman on NXT and hope no one remembered. Like, it's bad.
It's sad. It's a missed opportunity too, because Braun was special a few short years ago, so I think he has to win. I think he will win. The build to this match has not been good. I think we can all agree on that. I'm really hoping
I disagree.
on victory. Oh,
go on.
This is going to be the best match of the weekend. And I know all you don't want to say it.
Lies.
You don't want to believe it, but every single time Shane McMahon comes out, we all hum and haw and get all crabby about it. And then he gets thrown around and we're all like, wow, that was a really good match. He was really amazing. He really did some cool things. Shane McMahon is going to come out here, and everyone keeps forgetting that Shane McMahon is literally the best in the world, and he's going to prove it again, and he's going to beat Braun Strowman, and him and all the other dumb people who Braun Strowman are fighting for are going to have to learn to live with the fact that their guy lost.
He doesn't even believe what he just said. You've surpassed Adam Woods for the most ridiculous statement out of the show. Congratulations.
Jack, I'll point it out. If you're gunning for a job with the WWE, I have better contacts than Shane McMahon. I'll help you out. You don't have to put Shane McMahon over. He doesn't have.
You're telling me now? I've known you for 2 years, and you're just telling me now?
You've never made this outlandish claim on air before.
If nothing else, Braun Strowman's ex-tag team partner will make a look in, and that kid will knock out Shane, lay him out.
Love it.
Him the 1, 2, 3.
Love it.
See, I tend to agree with Jack in the one sense that I do like seeing Shane McMahon in matches and storylines. I just think this particular one has been a little stupid. But I would have, it's fine. I would have also preferred this to maybe be a handicap match. Throw Scrap Daddy in there. Braun can handle 2 guys. It would make the sort of verisimilitude, my suspension of disbelief, at least be a little bit more prevalent there with the monster among men. But whatever.
Have you seen Shane McMahon train?
You throw in the Mean Street Posse.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Steve Gas.
What's Nicholas doing is what I'm saying, because that's what I think. I think the way to get out of the for Shane to jump off of the damn ship, that's what happens. Nicholas he kind of turns on Braun or whatever, gives Shane the key. He goes out, they brawl and what have you, and the
match is over. The match ends.
What if Shane is lying in wait when Braun makes his entrance and then jumps off?
I just have to point out the gate.
Before they even get in the cage.
I just have to point out, everyone on this chat has talked about how they've cooled down Braun Strowman, but now you're pitching the moment they started to cool down Braun Strowman as, Oh no, that's the focal point to heat him back up.
Well, it's like the talk of bringing Jar Jar Binks to Star Wars.
I think you guys
Everybody wants him to be a Sith.
You guys
It's
are
the same
missing what
idea.
they need to do is the way you exit the cage is you have to solve a couple math problems.
Oh.
That's how you get the door open. That's the only way to survive. It's like a little list. You have to like fill it out real quick, and that's how you get out. That's how you win, and that's how we find out whether or not Braun Strowman is smart or not.
Brain Strowman still lives.
I got to go back to something James said though. They've been teasing Scrap Daddy getting in the ring more often for a while now. I want to see him wrestle. I want to see him in that ring.
Give
Scrap
him a Mania
Daddy,
moment.
Quit, yeah, Scrap Daddy deserves a Mania moment. I want to see him get in there. Quit teasing us. Give me what I want.
Jack, so on the pro WWE comments, do you want to be in creative or on camera? Because I know all the people. Because that idea strikes me as something Vince McMahon would love and has probably been pitched multiple times in the last 2 weeks.
He wasn't pitched by the right guy.
Are you kidding me? Look at that chin dimple.
Ketchup
That's a
popsicle
face
to a
guy.
woman in white gloves. I'm all in on the farmer train.
Hey, you know what? To piggyback on what Adam was saying, if you get that second ship a little bit closer to the cage, you can have the guys go from the top of the cage to the ship, battle on the ship, and then bring it to the floor.
Battle on the ship.
I'm going to say that this match should be 15 minutes, and it's going to be 25 minutes, which explains every Shane McMahon match ever.
Well, Shane's got to do the.
Am I the only one that liked The Miz and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania? I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it.
I thought it was
That's
good.
why I'm saying this is
I
going
thought
to be
it
a
was
great
good.
match. Everyone's going to hate themselves, and they're going to love it. That's
I mean,
what's gonna
Braun's
happen.
got to win, though, Jack. That's got to be Braun. Braun needs to win.
If he can beat Miz, he can beat Braun.
Yeah,
No,
100%.
Shane McMahon loses at WrestleMania and then wins any other time he's on a match.
Didn't he beat X-Pac at WrestleMania 15?
He sure did.
He sure did. That's the one win, though. Name me another Shane McMahon WrestleMania win.
Listen,
beat the Miz,
there's the Undertaker, there's HBK, and there's Shane McMahon. Those are the three Mr. WrestleMania.
First off, he beat Vince McMahon at 17.
That's
him
true.
Him and Daniel Bryan beat KO and Sami Zayn at
Great
WrestleMania.
match.
That was Shane McMahon.
He beat The Miz 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Come on.
Never mind. All right.
There you go. There you go. So we've got predictions. Some weird shit is going to happen. We kind of don't care, but we might end up going to live it. And that's why I was saying, like, my kind of WrestleMania week moments in NXT TakeOver UK, Prelude, the 2 nights of TakeOver, and Bloodsport. Like, anything that happens, I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever, that's cool. So,
Hey, are we going to do a WrestleMania wrap up to kind of review our predictions once the show is done? Because I think my fact in particular will be worth some discussion.
I think we should just do this match, right? And we'll follow up with that. And like nothing else.
I can sum it up in 4 words. I told you so.
Nice.
And don't forget to join him on the Money in the Bank watch along. Next.
Strap a rocket on this.
When's your start date, Jack? What day do you start?
exactly.
Jack, take me with you.
Are you in Tampa?
We're going to
Put
be
me
in
in the
this
bag.
stadium.
Are you in Tampa, Jack? Is what I'm saying.
It's going to be. I'm driving the pirate ship.
I knew it.
Podcast host on a pole match. We need that.
That doesn't sound comfortable at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah. So there. I don't know if we made it. So I guess who wins, right? Strowman, Braun. I mean, Strowman.
Braun.
Braun
I'm
and
going
Strowman.
Shane.
Braun goes over. He's
Here
got
comes the money.
Absolutely.
Listen, choo-choo train sounds. You don't want to. It's not a good look to have somebody bully a dumb person on television. It's just not a good look. So if you make Braun dumb and lose, then it's that's not fun. I think they're going to go for fun, and I think that means Braun and choo-choos.
What if Braun throws, a la St. Valentine's Day Massacre, throws Shane through the cage, but that makes him lose because Shane's feet touch?
I dig it.
Thus proving Shane correct.
Something like that could work too. Yeah.
I love that you referenced that, James. This is why we're buddies. Who else remembers that pay-per-view? I love that pay-per-view. That was a great match.
February 14th, 1999.
To be a star program here.
Wait, what?
Are we still doing the Be a Star program at WWE?
Yeah.
Clearly not.
They abandoned that.
It goes against everything that wrestling stands for, to be a star. I mean, come on.
Not to talk too much on betting odds, but right now Shane McMahon is 3-1 odds. And if you monitor them and you see the odds shift in his favor, bet. Because that means the finish is in and he's going to get some type of Braun is stupid finish. And
I love that insight. I'm taking that down. I am going to monitor that then.
He's going to hit Braun with a box of trivia questions.
Yeah.
He's going to have a dunce hat for sure.
Also, yeah, Shane McMahon is 100% coming out with a dunce hat. Also, I think for Braun, like it's props. Oh my God, it's the good shit, pal. With props. Good shit. I also think you'll know where they're at creatively. If they wanted to see Braun murder, death, kill, that's great. But if Braun tries to pin Shane McMahon in an escape from a cage match, know that they're leaning Braun into the Braun is stupid gimmick, and it's all over for Braun.
Oh my God.
If at any point
he develops a stutter because of the match, like some kind of brain injury that Shane did, and now he starts stuttering when he talks on the mic. Oh,
that's why we need to get Jack Farmer in the writer's room so he can keep this sensitive at least.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing. So there's that. Oh my gosh. But I'm going to start off because this guy is literally going to catch his flight to Tampa. George Hermoza. We got Drew McIntyre versus WWE champion Bobby Lashley. Drew McIntyre. That's what you got?
I thought you said Jew McIntyre.
No, Drew. I've got a little weird thing with my tongue, but what say you? WWE
I would have made the joke even if you had said it perfectly, which I think you did anyways. I really hope Bobby Lashley wins. I really, really hope to God Bobby Lashley wins. As much as I hate saying it, and this is a knock on Drew anyways, he was kind of the poster boy of no fans at wrestling shows. And I'm not saying that no fault to him. It's just the way the world has been for the last year. And it's kind of like, I don't want to be reminded of that. So I want to say, I really want to see Bobby Lashley, not just because he's been literally murdering it just for the last 2, 3, 4 months, and kind of look at what he did last year, pretty much jobbing against Aleister Black. Like, I think his ascension just has to keep going. Like, there's no way he can put a pause on what he's been doing for the last few months. I think Bobby Lashley should be the right person to win this match.
Oh, you said ascension, so I almost know exactly where we're going here. And look how well it turned out for the ascension. I hope that doesn't happen, because I
hope Bobby doesn't win.
No, I want Bobby to win, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Bobby has the title again. Another mea culpa of Mania, right? He gets the title, but he loses it to Drew, so Drew can get his pomp and circumstance, and Bobby gets Brock, who returns the night after Mania.
Especially now that match is not main eventing, and I'm already predicting. I think that's going to be the first match of the night. It's kind of interesting. Like, you wanted Drew to close the show last year, which didn't happen. Kind of, it did, but obviously, asterisk. Now, it's definitely not happening now that they announced the main event. I do think and see Bobby Lashley winning.
I hate that they split the Hurt Business like they did. Way too soon to do that. And that, to me, is sort of indicative that they are not going with Bobby here, which I do think is a little bit of a mistake, to be honest with you. I think Lashley as champion is interesting. Hurt Business together as a unit on top is interesting. The only way they could salvage this is if maybe it's good old Shelton Benjamin that brings out Brock Lesnar to screw Bobby Lashley. That's the only thing I could see to maybe save it.
I don't know if that would completely save it. I think them breaking up the Hurt Business did nothing more than tip their hat. Because I think had they not broken up the Hurt Business and the Hurt Business was one big, strong, united front, we wouldn't be talking about, oh man, it's so obviously Drew. We'd be talking about like, man, we thought it was going to be Drew, but they really just put everything in front of Drew McIntyre. Like, is Drew McIntyre going to win? And I think they shot themselves in the foot by being like, no, there's going to be dissension among their ranks, and we're going to break up.
I I almost disagree. I think they keep, and I think the power of the Hurt Business and the power of Bobby Lashley over the past few months, it feels like they keep trying to trip them up and they keep trying to decelerate him, but it just gets people more worked up for him. When they broke up the Hurt Business, it felt like everyone said, no, we love them, keep pushing them. And I think even when they come out, we're going to see a much better reaction for Bobby Lashley than they're expecting. And I think they're starting to realize that what they have here is a bit of lightning in a bottle. Everyone is into this. Everyone loves Bobby Lashley. Everyone loves the Hurt Business, even if they love them for like, hey, we're not supposed to like you, but we like you. I think everyone loves them. And I think that maybe they're looking at this going, we need to run with this. This is great. I think Bobby Lashley's going to win. I want Bobby Lashley to win. He's one of the people I'm most invested in WWE right now. I love him. I can't believe everything he's gone through to get to where he's at right now. Drew McIntyre will be fine. Drew McIntyre will find someone to pick a fight with. I think this is Bobby Lashley's time. I think he's winning. I agree. I think it'll probably be opening match, and I think they're going to kick it off with a big almighty win.
I hope you're right, and I actually think that Drew McIntyre should be facing Sheamus at WrestleMania. I don't even think that this match should be happening. I think they rushed through that whole ordeal. I'm sort of stunned that they did that. Bobby should be facing somebody else. The Hurt Business should still be intact. I'm hoping for Bobby, and like Jack said, Drew will be fine if Bobby does retain here. I don't think that's the way they're going to go, but we'll see.
I think we're all in agreement there that I think the plan long term has always been to have Drew McIntyre win the world title at this WrestleMania to make up for the previous Tampa WrestleMania that they couldn't do that in front of a crowd. All the way back to the Miz cash in. I think that's always been the plan. The real question becomes, you think they're going to deviate from that plan at all? I don't think they are. They're a very rigid place.
A lot of interference, and Lashley gets the win. That's Steve Tatum.
That is
with the makeup stains or not.
Long-term storytelling.
Official picks.
Gotta love it.
I was about to point out that the long-term storytelling is not their strong suit.
Yeah,
No one in that writer's room was there when the Lana storyline happened.
Yeah. Okay, so
thank God.
Yeah. Right. So everybody's picks are who? Okay, let's do a show of hands. Lashley. Okay. All right. Drew. Okay.
Boo.
So
it's not who I want. It's just what
exactly.
I like Drew McIntyre.
I do like Drew too.
Good
Good times Drew.
Right now.
Looks like the cover of every romance novel in the 90s. I love it.
Yes.
But I also like Lashley.
I can't believe it's not better.
I'm going to go ahead and say something that's going to sound super nerdy and kind of like elitist, but Bobby's kind of been fumbling on the mic.
He has.
I've never heard. Yeah, I've never heard Drew fumble much. Like he has, but he's usually on point. And I think with Bobby fumbling on the mic, I think they do pay attention to that in terms of booking.
I agree. I think the same thing.
Is that not why they have MVP there, though, to be his sort of mouthpiece?
But MVP's letting him talk too much, man. He's fumbling. I don't want to hear that.
Remember when he pinned the Miz, you heard MVP on the mic saying, "Put your foot on him, stand on him, put your foot on him." Not that he was necessarily reminding him, but just that remind us that MVP is his coach, and that is the guy who is driving him to success. Personally, I think the Hurt Business breakup was a ruse. And if some shenanigans happen this weekend, we are going to see Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander have some sort of interference, and they're going to come all back together.
I love
that. That would be great.
That would be strong storytelling. So don't hold your breath.
I know. All right. So, George, you actually want to get us kicked off with our quick predictions. So, George, take it away.
Yeah, keep doing y'all thing. I do think AJ and Omos win, not because it's Omos' his first match, because remember Big E lost his first match on the main roster too. But I do think there's a lot of intrigue on my end for Omos or almost, however you say it. I think this is going to be Cesaro's time to shine. I think he's going to have one of the best matches of night one. So I can't wait to see that. Hopefully he delivers. Obviously, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins delivered last year. Hopefully they can do that with this year with Cesaro. I think Roman Reigns should be champion up until at least next year's WrestleMania. I think he's the absolute best thing in all of WWE today. I do think Asuka retains. I love The Fiend. He's going to go over Randy Orton. I think Big E and Apollo is going to have a stealer of the show night 2. I think Sami Zayn and Owens we're all going to be clamoring to watch Ring of Honor, because that should be a match where we wish they would have had, but now that Logan Paul is involved, obviously it's going to become a gimmick. And my favorite character, which is surprisingly Riddle, love Matt Riddle's character, and I do think he's going to go pretty quickly over Sheamus.
Yes. And George, while we have you here, where can they find out more about you and the Wrestling Chatter?
You can find more about me at 818-97. No, I'm kidding. You can follow the Wrestling Chatter. We just surpassed 500 subscribers. YouTube.com/The Wrestling Chatter. We got some cool XPW interviews. We're gonna have more interviews, non-XPW related, coming up very, very soon. Thank you everybody for subscribing. Thank you all you guys. You guys are awesome. Nice to meet some of you. James, I just barely met you for the last Sunday over in Oxnard. Me and Jack spent a good few minutes putting you over and how great and talented you are. True story. You can even ask Jack. PCW Ultra, I was a cameraman there, so I'm sure you saw me in action every now and then. Chemical Julian, pleasure to meet you. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you guys soon.
Yes, absolutely. So again, we got to get you into Tampa. So later, good Hermoza. I'm just saying. Yes, too sweet.
We did put you over, James, but to be fair, I did just talk about how Shane McMahon is the best wrestler in the world. So
hey, he won the tournament. You're not wrong. He ain't lying.
Sure did.
He ain't lying.
He won the final of the tournament, but whatever.
Best in the world.
You can't win it in the first, second, or third quarter.
No,
you gotta win it in the fourth.
Shane dove feet first into the deep water and proved to the world he's exactly who he said he was. I loved it.
Yeah.
Hey, I really enjoyed Shane and AJ, so whatever. That was a good match.
Yeah, hey, he delivers at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I mean, any things that you want to do, or do you guys want to refute George Hermoza? Now that he's not here, do you want to refute any of the picks that he had?
Yes, and it's a night one match.
Okay.
I think Seth Rollins is going to go over Cesaro, 100%, because the chatter I'm hearing is that they're heating up Cesaro because they have big plans for Cesaro. No, they're heating up Cesaro so they can transfer the heat to Seth Rollins, who's their golden goose.
Yeah,
I'm standing by that. That's 100% what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I hate to believe it. I believe it.
And, I mean, keep in mind, Seth lost last year, right? Not that they really take that into account, but maybe they do. I totally could see that, though. The fact that they have more long-term. I think it would be sort of crazy to think that they don't have more long-term plans for Seth than they do for Cesaro. And that's no besmirchment to Cesaro. I think he's an incredible talent. But, they do look at Seth as more of the golden goose. I would like to see Cesaro pick up a big win because, I personally love watching him, but I would not be shocked at all by a Seth Rollins victory.
Yeah, Seth Rollins is winning 100%. You don't get a guy that many awesome suits just to have him take a big L on the grandest stage of them all. I love Cesaro. Who doesn't love Cesaro? I think every single person who watches wrestling is like, yeah, Cesaro's legit. He's awesome. But we also go, but Seth Rollins is going to beat him at WrestleMania. Come on, it's Seth Rollins.
Also, Seth Rollins is going to look mighty, mighty awesome by winning after taking 37 big swings.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that the over? What's the over under on those swings?
Can we get a prop bet on the number of spins?
Yes. It's WrestleMania 37, guys. It's going to be 37 swings.
Oh my God.
It's not.
I love it. I love the action.
Guys, I'm going to have to send you all a copy of my scorecard for the match. So you can put in your numbers and tally your scores at the end of the night.
I love the action. Do we agree that Roman is walking out still with the championship? Because, I do think that this is the best work of his career thus far. I think that the natural match you build to is, Rock and Roman Reigns for the head of the table in a mansion that The Rock built. But, God, this injection of Daniel Bryan, not a lethal dose of NWO poison, but a lot of intrigue in this main event of WrestleMania. I love the action. I love the sort of Is Edge full blown heel? You know, he said the rated R superstar is back. That would indicate yes. I don't know. I love everything we got going on here. This 3-way track for night 2. It's exciting.
I agree with everything that George said. I agree that he should. I agree George should, or Roman Reigns should win. I agree he should be the champion for 100,000 years. I think he's so good. I think he's so amazing. It is the best work of his career. But you guys, this match is so big. I think it's bigger than a lot of people are giving it credit for. When we start ranking the best wrestlers of all time, you know, everyone has their who they think is the best of all time. We got our number 1s, we've got our number 2s, our number 3s. But eventually you get to a point in the list where you get to your Roman Reigns, your Daniel Bryans, and your Edges. And I think the winner of this match isn't just going to walk away with the title. I think they're going to get to say they're better than the other two on that list. I think this is a legacy-defining match. Because if Daniel Bryan gets another big comeback kind of win, that is legacy-defining. If Edge comes back and wins, that's legacy defining. If Roman Reigns gets yet another big WrestleMania win, that's legacy defining. This is a legacy defining match, and it's so much bigger than even a WrestleMania main event. If you look at it in the big picture, this is massive.
I would just like to say to everyone out there, especially Vince, there is nothing bigger than a WrestleMania main event ever. Couldn't be possible.
Have you seen Crown Jewel?
well, goddamn, pal. That was certainly the greatest Royal Rumble. I would love for them to sort of do a redux of what happened at the end of the triple threat with Triple H and Batista and Daniel Bryan, or excuse me, Randy Orton, Batista and Daniel Bryan, only for Roman to be like, no, it's not a movie, kid. It doesn't work this way when you're in there with the tribal chief, and kind of put the kibosh on the next Yeselmania moment. But I really do think that it could go any of the 3 ways. I see scenarios for all 3 people coming out of WrestleMania. Me personally, that doesn't need the sort of go home happy, mega happy ending. I would love for them to keep it on Roman Reigns, which I still would have as the leader in the clubhouse. But there's a lot to be said for the other 2 options as well. I love that about it.
I think they have a slight, I'll call it mark problem. They'll call it an international fan problem, which is Roman Reigns is so good and we're so enthralled with his work that the first time we're going to see him in front of a crowd, we're not going to boo him. Which is counterintuitive. Correct. Wrestling fans are fickle.
Correct.
I think
fickle.
Speaking of Daniel Bryan, I think.
Oh my gosh! What the heck? Oh,
damn! Retribution!
Retribution! Oh my gosh! What the hell happened?
Ali, come on, man! You're gonna win the Andre Battle Royal. You're fine.
I thought he was dropping a pipe bomb and Vince cut him off.
No, it was Sammy Callahan.
No, I just want to point out that the whole inclusion of Daniel Bryan in the last 3 weeks strikes me as them trying to course correct against the Roman Reigns cheers. As such, creatively, I don't know why you would put Daniel Bryan in there as what they'd consider themselves a face territory and not make Daniel Bryan win. So the question becomes, how do you make Daniel Bryan win? And the answer is to make Edge tap out.
Interesting.
You keep the heat off of either of them. You put even more heat on Roman Reigns to a point that maybe maybe they go knock down, drag out, like Clash of Titans for the ages. But Daniel Bryan locks a yes lock in on Edge. Edge taps out. And then Roman Reigns, incensed, beats them both down to a bloody pulp. So we still end on the heat. But Daniel Bryan won, and we all still got to do this, and some people went to their cars.
So, Steve, I love your scenario, but in there, I'd like to insert a ref bump. So we get the tap, we get the fans cheering, and then we get Roman coming in. He beats the shit out of both of them, and he picks up a pin when the ref comes to.
Ooh. Yep. And then, but are you saying maybe a ref bump, a second ref runs out? That ref calls
give Roman the 1, 2, 3.
But the first ref gives the tap, or sorry, the second ref, the ref that runs out gives the tap out, and then the first ref comes to and then gives Roman Reigns the 1, 2, 3, and you hold up the titles?
Jeff, Jey Uso is the second ref.
Is Jey Uso the second ref? Oh, well then.
That's what he's been doing in a cyber way. Is the referee certification school. That's exactly it.
What if instead we have Roman Reigns just Superman punch Edge, and then Superman punch Daniel Bryan, spear them both, stack them on top of each other, pin them both, because that's the way it should end. Because guess what? I acknowledge him.
Hey, I love it, Joaquin. I got an ideal.
Yeah,
I
got a prediction. Okay. I got a prediction. Jimmy. The return of Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I say the Usos get the bloodline back in full form and Roman goes over.
Yeah, I think
I'm with it.
if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said it would have been a lock cinch that Roman Reigns is retaining at WrestleMania. I love Steve's point about trying to counteract the rising tide of cheers for Roman Reigns. You have seen similar things like that throughout WWE history. I mean, The Rock was getting booed out of the building when he was first a babyface, turned heel, and then, people started to really love him. It's interesting to me for this, though, is that Edge, this sentimental favorite, they feel like couldn't carry those cheers. It's just, I don't know if I agree with it or not. It is just sort of an interesting concept that the idea of a person that was put on the shelf because of a debilitating neck injury returns, wins the Royal Rumble, and they feel like that their fans are not going to back him to the hilt. But Edge has always been a better heel than a babyface.
Wait a minute. I've got to call timeout. I've got to say something here. This is just grinding my gears. Just a moment ago, you guys were like, no, they've made up their mind about Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. They'd never change their opinion. But now you're like, well, they felt like something had to change, so they're adding this person and they're doing this person and they're zigging and zagging. You guys need to make up your mind.
My question to you, Jeff Farmer. Did they add Cesaro to the Drew McIntyre main event ad hoc 3 weeks ago? It's how they book a monster babyface versus how they book a monster heel. They think they know how to book a monster babyface, so they know what they're going to do with Drew McIntyre, and it's going to take so much to overcome that. A monster heel, they're like, Hogan must pose. We got to end the night. We got to end both nights with happiness.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to bring this up earlier, but I've had a few of these. That I think that Bobby Lashley and Drew actually might be a modern day like Rock and Hulk, like you were saying. Like they may have to, switch it up like if they come out, we have a crowd, and I think they're going to pay attention to the crowd because the crowd's back. We're back in business, baby. So if the crowd starts chanting for one or the other, I think they may pull a switch like they did with Rock and Hulk, because originally the plan was the other way around. And then the crowd turned, and it was like, oh, shit, well, I guess we should please the fans. So I think that may happen with either Bobby and Drew, and I think it could also happen with Edge, Drew, and DB, and Roman. I still think we should get the Bloodline Jimmy reunion thing, but we'll see. I think they may pay attention to the crowd, though, because this is the back in business WrestleMania.
Yeah. And Steve Tatum actually says, what about the greatest advocate of all time?
Oh,
Maybe
God.
Heyman interference with the MIA Lesnar. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. And here's not that anybody wants my deal, but here's my prediction. I actually think Edge is going to win. I think Edge is going to win because he won the Mania. We can't have like Bianca in some people's kind of universe. They have Bianca win the Rumble but lose at Mania, and then also Edge wins the Rumble, loses at Mania, because what's the point of the Rumble? You just kind of dissuaded it. So I actually think Edge is going to win. I just don't like Roman. I agree that he is done the best work of his career, but still something is a gas. He still creates the worst parts of the Shield, right? He's the head of the table, the Samoan, whatever, but you wear SWAT boots and SWAT pants. Like, what are we doing?
But I think you're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to hate him. He's a heel. Yeah. So I think, like, for me, I always hated Roman before, but I hated him because I didn't like his booking. Now that he's out and he's a heel and he's, leaning into that, I hate him for the right reasons. I hate him because he's a good heel. Yes. So I think that's the difference there. Like,
I just think the best pathway forward coming out of this triple threat is Roman retaining and you split off Daniel Bryan and Edge into their own singles feud, which is a dream match in and of itself. I mean, you know, that's great stuff that you could build forth, and you could get a few matches out of that, and you have the Rated R superstar back, which to me, the greatest indicator that Edge is all the way back is the fact that he's a heel. It is no longer the nostalgia, sentimentality, we can't boo this guy because we don't know how long we're going to have him anymore. No, this guy's the Rated R superstar. He's the ultimate opportunist, and we hate him because he is a titanic prick and has been his entire career. And so that, to me, is the best indicator that Edge is all the way back, and I would love to see a series of matches with he and Daniel Bryan. Throw whatever stips you want in there. It's going to be great stuff.
I'm agreeing. I like that.
Yeah. Then for long-term booking, it makes more sense to keep the belt on Roman Reigns. I just don't. They're still the same people who felt that Hulk Hogan must pose. They're still the same, what they call themselves, a face territory, not a heel territory. I don't think they have the wherewithal to end Sunday night, the night, to end that with a heel winning.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. He really? Is he though? Is he? I feel like he's kind of like the NWO at this point, where like, we know
not a Vince creation though.
We know what side of the tracks he's on. We know all that, but who doesn't love Roman Reigns right now? Who legitimately is like, I hate that guy.
The TV character, I think he's like a mean, despicable prick.
Just like the NWO
we hate him for
was,
the right
though.
reasons.
No,
like just like the NWO was. They were all jerks, but you were like, yeah, but I'm still going to wear their shirt.
No, but the NWO wasn't throw your grandmom in front of a bus heels. Yeah. The Roman Reigns is to throw your grandmom in front of a bus heel. There's a difference.
Right. Hulk Hogan literally yelled at old grandmas in the stands.
Put her over a little. She wasn't backing down.
Grandma was feisty.
One thing you got to take into consideration too with Roman is his new golden glove with the logo of him flying with the Superman punch. They're going for an MJ kind of vibe. You know, they're looking at him as the face, the star, the brand, the logo, the trademark. You know what I mean? So I think definitely he keeps going. I hate him, but I think I hate him for a good reason now. I hate him because he's doing a good job at being a douche.
I think Steve posed the $1 million question though: is do they have the wherewithal to have a heel standing tall like they do or at the end of WrestleMania? Ordinarily, I would say no, but because it's Roman Reigns, that is who they do want to see pose because they have so much equity built into him that it almost defies convention of WrestleMania to where that they would still shove all in with him, and even though he's a heel.
Working yourself into a shoot, brother.
Especially after a feel-good ending to night one with Bianca Belair winning.
Yeah. And I think the returning Jimmy, you get the bloodline. It becomes about family, and you get that vibe of Santos, which like, is he a heel? He's got his kid there. I don't know. It's like, this is family. So like, I'm supposed to love the fact that they are such a tight family, but also they're all assholes. So it's kind of, I think that's a good moment to have, like an Empire Strikes Back moment.
Also, while we're devolving into a bit of fantasy booking, if you want to keep the belt on Roman Reigns and have him throw your grandmom in front of a bus heel, and you want him to pose at the end, but you still want a feel-good moment, you have The Rock come out and stare down with him. The Rock can come out on social media the next day and be like, Dallas, next year.
Ooh, I like it.
You can book it. And I think the Peacock deal coupled with the Peacock deal coupled with The Rock having his own TV show on that same corporate overlord is the only way that could possibly happen.
Can I one up you if we're gonna do this? Instead of Dallas, they wait 2 years and do it in LA, so it's in my backyard. And
could you imagine?
Yes,
well, you're gonna be Jack. You're gonna be on the call by 2 years.
Jack is gonna be there debuting. You're gonna make your almost a la Jim Ross or make your WrestleMania debut next year at Mania. I'm booking that.
Book it. Well, now there's the ultimate feel-good moment is that Jack Farmer comes out and stands toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns.
Yes!
That would be the worst visual in all of wrestling history.
Hey,
is he here to interview him?
Tag titles.
He's here to do a post-show interview, right?
Is Jack wetting himself? Why is
a great visual?
The crowd's like, we don't know you.
Oh man, Jack Farmer's over.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. So I mean, Yeah, I just think Edge is gonna win just because the Royal Rumble. Because I mean, if we have Bianca lose theoretically, and then Edge lose, what's the point
that's
of the
right.
Rumble?
You think Bianca's going to lose. That's why you think this way.
No, I think Bianca's gonna win. But there are
I'm
a
the
lot
only
of
one that picked
contenders.
Sasha, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. Somebody has to kind of have the kind of I don't know, the integrity of Mania. I mean, Royal Rumble hold up. So that's what I'm thinking. So I mean, in terms of the match that everybody's individually is waiting for and can't wait to happen, when the entrances go and everything and the bell sounds, that magic synonymous WrestleMania moment, what's it going to be for you, James Kincaid?
It's the triple threat. I think the last 10 minutes or so that I think we've demonstrated that all these possible scenarios that they've built in, this is what the name on the marquee is all about. You have Edge, you have Daniel Bryan, you have Roman Reigns, all three of them with great possible scenarios of what they could do as champion. And it is the main event of the very last night. I cannot wait. I'm very excited for it.
All right, Eddie, what say you?
For me personally, because of who I am, my personality, and what I listen to and what I like, I'm going to say the match that none of us talked about, The Fiend and Randy Orton.
Oh,
10 points.
Yeah, I love The Fiend. I think it's one of the best characters they have ever created, and they keep fucking it up.
Yes.
It's really pissing me off.
Yes,
because I really, really love The Fiend, and what is this that you're doing?
I agree.
However, I think it's going to be a defining moment for me, whether or not I tap out on The Fiend, is this match, because I don't really dig the burnt up Fiend. I liked his previous look better. I think it was a really amazing character, and they just kind of kept shitting on it. And then they kind of brought it back with Alexa Bliss. They had that Harley Quinn Joker vibe going. I was like, yeah, this is what I want. And then the melting and the waiting and this is a very important match for me because I love the character. I love Randy Orton. I think he's doing some of his best work. But if they fuck this up House of Horror style, I'm done. I'm out. And if they have their final redemption moment with The Fiend and putting him over as a big thing and a good WrestleMania moment for him, I'll be stoked. So I think that is a defining moment for me for WrestleMania.
Does anybody think that this is that's going to be a cinematic match?
I hope so.
No.
I hope so. But no.
I don't think they're having people pay all this money to come out to like an unprecedented event of this magnitude with a crowd to push play on a video.
Yeah.
Do we see Vince McMahon welcome the crowd back?
Ooh, that'd be good.
I would love that.
He wants that.
I would love that.
Me too.
I'm with you about The Fiend. I don't think they've ever fully recovered from what they did to him at Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins. It's unfortunate. I don't think they should have ever put the championship on him because his sort of plan should be beyond any sort of championship, and that way you don't book yourself into a corner. And I just don't think that they've really fully recovered from that. And
the gimmick belt didn't help anything.
This could be, though, like you said, sort of a Mania defining moment for the Fiend character.
Yeah.
I think this match is too much of an afterthought to live up to anything you guys are saying. Like I don't think they had,
right? Is it not sad? Was the Fiend not a good idea, and then they fucked it up?
The Fiend was a great idea for long-term storytelling, and they stuck with long-term storytelling with The Fiend longer than I've thought they ever would, because the logic of his booking stayed pretty sound for a long time up through the Goldberg loss, because the argument becomes, if you're pure of heart, The Fiend can't touch you. And within that universe, the only person that is pure of heart that has ever faced The Fiend was Goldberg. That works up until, I'd say, about a year and a half ago, where he burned or something or another. It got weird eventually. And like you said, if there weren't tokens like titles strapped to him, you would have never had to face that conundrum. And he would have, whether it's John Cena or Roman Reigns, people are going to have to face their demons when they face The Fiend. It's unfortunate they felt like, no, he has to have the belt and everyone needs to fight him for the belt. And it needs to be that simple. And that's where they lost their way.
Yeah, I think the Braun Strowman match was a good opportunity that they also, shit the bed on. Like, Even my wife got involved with the Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss Bray thing. She was like, "Oh, what's going on with Braun and Alexa?" She doesn't even watch wrestling, but she was asking me about that. And I'm like, that's when you know you have a good fucking story. And they ruined it. They ruined it with this whole Braun, this dumb thing. He should still be involved with the Fiend storyline. I don't know. That's my.
You guys are all burying the lead. Randy Orton's top 10 all time. He's not taking a loss to this weekend. He's going to beat the Fiend. He's going to beat everyone. He's the legend killer. The Fiend's nothing but another legend to be added to his list of victims. I am all in on the 3 most dangerous letters in pro wrestling, RKO. We take Randy Orton so for granted, and how dare we? He's untouchable for the past.
That's what the money's for.
He's also
years.
Great reference.
5-1 odds. You can get 5-1 odds on Randy Orton. Is all I'm going to say.
I'll go with Jack on this. The match that I wanted on Raw for the championship, I wanted Edge versus Randy Orton. That's what I wanted for the rubber match between them. That's what I thought. That's what Edge winning the Rumble meant to me. And I thought for sure we were going to get the legend killer. And I would have been pulling for Randy too. And no besmirchment of Edge, but I mean, come on, it's Randy.
Randy Orton's so good. I think he's top 10 all time. I'll put it out there. I think he's in that list.
Jack, you just earned a follow. You just earned a follow. Very good. Right now. I'm following you right now.
I'm with Eddie in this one. I want the Fiend, whatever. I'm not a fan. I haven't been a fan of Randy Orton since he was doing the Ozone and the whole. Like I'm good. I'm totally good on Randy Orton.
Oh my goodness!
And I love that he is. I as a wrestling fan, I can call it as it may. Yes, Randy Orton is doing the best work of his career because I feel this is his swan song, right? And I think that Roman Reigns is also doing the best work of his career, right? Doesn't mean that they tick my box. Like this is a throwaway match. I'm glad. They screwed up the Fiend when he lost to Taker. That's when he should have. When he lost to Taker, I thought that's the point where you build the but you did it, and you want to do more hocus pocus stuff with Randy again. Okay, like the bare naked lady said, it's all been done before. Like whatever, more hocus pocus. All right, cool story, bro. We can just check on the WWE. Peacock Network where that happened again, like less than 5 years ago.
The disrespect to Randy.
I'm
Orton.
sorry. I
can't believe.
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm a Shawn Michaels guy, so I have to back Randy Orton because he took it to HBK as good as it got. So and those were some excellent matches, and he is exactly who he says he is, a legend killer. But he should be vying with Edge for the championship is where I really wanted things to go with that. But
did they just add a match? I think they just added a match.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me because
is Jack Farmer involved in the match.
We got taking on Bailey.
There it is. Ding dong, hello. There it is.
No, I see Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. I'm seeing it on the sportsbook site now.
How'd the Mysterios win?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
that's a fun Mania moment.
Yeah. Because I was also going to point out when you were asking me what I'm most excited for. Obviously, of everything announced is Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the intrigue. But I also think at 7 matches each night, and last year they went 9 matches, there's a lot of wiggle room. I think off the wall a little, but I would be really excited if Charlotte Flair, who is medically cleared, and Becky Lynch, who has said she wants to return, if they, as friends, like an Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, open night 1. Hey, you're here. I'm here. Let's wrestle. I would love that.
Woo! Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dig it. But do you think they just do it no build, though? They just give it away like that?
Yep. 100%. Okay. But you give it away, much like you gave away Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, that there was more that head into it. And then a lot happened on the back end and the long tail that I honestly think. And if you want to give hype for the entire 2-night spectacle, you make the first night 2 of your biggest female stars turning up unannounced and facing each other.
I say that you hold that over for the Raw after Mania, and you just get all the buzz, the two big returns. Well, the one big return because Charlotte's been back, but Becky Lynch making her return, Becky challenging Bianca Belair, Becky challenging Rhea Ripley, whoever it is, and there you just you start off strong, Raw after Mania. That's what it's made for.
Yeah. Steven Tatum says Bailey Ding Dong, who's there? Jack Farmer. Bailey do that. So you are the answer to the ding dong, Jack Farmer, in a lot of people's.
Real quick about the ding dong hello thing. My wife pointed this out too, and I bring this up because she doesn't really like wrestling, but she sits there every once in a while and watches me watch it.
God bless her for that, by the way.
Yeah. She was like, "Why the fuck is Bailey saying ding dong hello and going like this, like a cell phone? Like how do phones work?" I don't, anyway. Moving along.
That whole bit works doubly in my household because my dog goes nuts anytime the doorbell rings, and every time they make the noise, my dog goes nuts. And so it's like, God, Bailey, stop this! Show.
What a heel!
Oh, man. Yeah, she's a great heel because I hate her. I hate her guts.
Yeah,
Bailey died when she attacked the Tube Men. To me.
Seriously, when she cut them up, what is that?
Yeah,
how dare you?
That was excellent. I was a loyal. I was a very diehard Baileyan until that moment, and she stabbed me in the back.
Not until the moment she forgot what an Extreme Rules match was.
I mean, it just wasn't her forte.
What killed her character. That's what killed her character.
No doubt about it.
It took like 2 years for her to kill the inflatable arm flailing Tube Men.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I loved watching her kill that Tube Man. That was great.
Oh, Jack. That's why you're working for WWE in 6 months.
He's a heel. I love it.
2 months. 2 months.
2 hours. I'm bringing you all with me. Let's go.
Thank you. Right on.
They cannot afford me.
You're gonna roll in like the Rosebuds.
I like
Jack Farmer.
I like the backhanded. I like that backhanded statement though, Steve. Like, Jack, you'll be working there in a few months. They can't afford me though. What does that mean?
That was good.
Jack will work for pennies, but whatever.
No, Jack will make a sizable living at the WWE. Steve already makes a sizable living. That's what I said.
Okay, we'll take that.
Just flexing. Okay, so that's WrestleMania, man. That's it.
Don't forget the Intercontinental Championship match. It is an African drum match. If I don't get authentic African drummers, I'm gonna be pissed.
Is anybody worried?
Full on WrestleMania intro, right? Yeah.
Is anybody else worried that they're going to handle that poorly?
Oh my God! Is there anybody that would take the bet that they don't handle it poorly?
Yeah, that's half the intrigue.
How about we bring back Akeem, the African Dream, to be the special guest referee?
Yeah, bring back Slava Simba. Come on, that's Slava Simba.
Maybe
damn, that's Tony Atlas.
If they brought back Akeem to ref the match, I would pop huge as hell. That would be the best thing ever.
Maybe he helps Apollo.
That would be the WrestleMania moment.
That's the long con that they've been long-term storytelling.
So here's the deal. Who do you think is the agent on this match?
Get Conrad to dress up as Akeem. That would be great.
If they can't afford me, they definitely can't afford him.
Well, you know.
Which I gotta ask, right? Who do you think is the agent for this African or Nigerian drum match?
Do.
No. Shenanigans. That is Jeff Jarrett all over. Come on, instruments over. Come on.
I think Jeff Jarrett and Michael Hayes are fighting over it.
Yeah.
So this is a no DQ match?
Probably.
Essentially.
Likely. That's what happens in Nigeria, apparently. No DQ.
You have to beat him.
It was going to be like a talent
drum
show where they both take turns playing and we pick the winner like American Idol.
They do a drum circle. And,
I'll definitely take Big E in that.
Oh yeah, he definitely has better rhythm.
Look, I'm gonna be straight up and maybe get canceled for this one here.
No,
I'm kidding. But look, like honestly, why do I feel that when Apollo switched his accent, I felt offended, and I shouldn't because I'm not African American, but I do have African blood. I'm Cuban, and I just felt like, what are you doing? Like, you don't talk like that. You're now like, oh, this is how I talk. Like, no, come on, man. Like, I find it feels so Vince. feels so
Yes.
Vince and so racist that I just
So,
can't.
I was offended when Kofi
Very
stopped
Vince.
talking in the accent because I invested in that character, and then it was like, what happened? Is this Storm and X-Men 2 all over again? What is going on?
I recently saw that Triple H calling him out moment on a video clip, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
remember when Demolition was with Mr. Fuji and they had this very broken Japanese accent?
Oh my god.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they left Mr. Fuji and they're talking like just American guys, like straight out of Illinois and Indiana. I mean, this is very wrestling. It's very WWE. It's like Tajiri creeping when he's a heel and then walking upright when he's not. You know, it comes with the territory. You know.
I want to hear Jack's point of view on this.
That's the company line.
I mean, look, you got to get
what's
in where
Vince
you
got to
fit
say?
in. That's what I just say. Get in where you fit in, man. Like Apollo Crews has been around for a while, and he's had long runs of time when he wasn't on TV. Is he on TV right now? Just you keep on trucking. Keep on doing what you're doing. That's what I said.
It's hard to argue with, right? You're on
Cash,
TV. So.
cash or creative, and I guess they're not giving him enough cash, or like they're giving him so much cash they have to use him.
I mean, I didn't like the change of accent just because I felt like it's kind of insulting the intelligence of everybody. Like, so you were faking your accent. Like, I don't know. Like that was all silly to me. But again, at the end of the day, man, you're on TV, you're on WrestleMania, you're getting an IC title shot. Just roll with it. Roll with it.
A couple dudes in camo and a spear.
Those are
Where is Booker T in this?
ones from Professor Griff.
Where's Booker T and the Bad Bunny kind of insertion, right? Because I would think that Booker T would be in camo with, I don't know. It's just weird.
Booker T don't want that. Booker T don't want nothing to do with this.
Yeah. You didn't just say that.
Ducky, quack,
I'm
quack.
a Raw.
Ducky.
I'm a Raw superstar.
I mean,
I ain't no minor leaguer.
I'm just saying he's any excuse he can to just be like, why are you not involved in this? It's like I'm on Raw. They're on SmackDown.
Yeah, right.
I don't work Fridays.
Yeah. All right. So that's WrestleMania 37. That's where we are. My goodness. I think it's a menagerie. And the fact that we have, it was booked 2 nights of Mania and we didn't even have a finalized card 24 hours before. That is, again, why my Mania moments, like, happened outside of WWE. WrestleMania happened outside of the WWE, somewhat in the WWE with the Prelude and the NXT takeovers. So I'm good. Everything else is a bonus, right? If I pop for one thing, if I don't fall asleep during any of the matches, right on.
One thing that keeps getting repeated a lot, and I've seen it on social media, is that it is a good time to be a wrestling fan. Right?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my WrestleMania moment's always the friends we make along the way.
No, that is over. That is over. Good job, James Kincaid.
Hey, don't remember that Mania gets kicked off by the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which starts on SmackDown the Friday night before. That is tonight.
Yeah, a show that Andre the Giant made famous, Friday Night SmackDown.
And that they totally didn't already tape.
Not even the pre-show.
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable.
But James, you mentioned about making new friends along the way, right? So we're gonna start off with you, good sir. For those who want to make friendly with you, even more so than they're doing right now, where can they find you on social media? What you're doing, all of it.
I would love it on Twitter at James Kincaid, the traditional Scottish spelling. That's Kincaid as I stumble over it, and at the James Kincaid on Instagram. I love interacting with everybody. I love talking wrestling. This is always a great time. So yeah, please throw me a follow on both of those, and we'll chat.
Oh, Best Damn Nerd Show.
Yeah, and I do some other stuff too. Yeah, Best Damn Nerd Show. Check us out on YouTube there, Spotify, the 10-0 Media Network. We're doing a lot of very cool stuff in the fighting game community, in the podcast world. So check out the 10-0 Media Network. Check out the Best Damn Nerd Show wherever podcasts are sold. And by sold, I mean free.
I like it. Free. I like free. Chemical Julian, let's go.
Hey, you will find me at Chemical Julian on Instagram and Twitter, and at and on Instagram you're just probably going to see a bunch of pictures of my dog, Sasha the Wonder Pup. I'm a wrestling fan through and through. I happen to make my living being a chemical engineer. So pop in, say hello, and I'm more than glad to meet you.
Damn right. I love it. Jack Farmer, as we see your sojourn for your WWE journey, which will probably happen in 2 weeks, where can they find you, good sir?
You can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. You can also check me out doing an AEW after show. I power rank all the wrestlers for Elite of the Week every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. I do a Draped in Gold, the NXT after show. I also am a part of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood with James Kincaid as well. But this Monday, what's going to be fun is I'm going to be hosting Wrestling Inc.'s after show for WWE Raw. So check that out. If you watch Raw, watch the after show. Why wouldn't you? They go together hand in hand.
Yeah, dang right.
Where can people find Championship Wrestling, Jack? The good people that want to watch it, because I know up here you can catch it on Cron 4 Saturdays at 2 a.m. Set those DVRs. But how about you, Jack?
That's a great question. You can find it on KDOC LA here in Los Angeles. You can also check it out on Fight TV streaming or on YouTube. So many different ways for you to see it, depending on how you like to watch your wrestling. It's good for everybody.
Amen.
Brought to you by Car Shield.
Also, amen.
Amen to that. Eddy Torres, Rock and Roll Beer Guy. Where can they find all of it?
All of it is at RRBG Podcast. You can find our show. We have videos now thanks to the pandemic. So those have been very fun to put together and try and be funny with those. So go to our YouTube channel, RRBG Podcast. You'll catch me talking to people like Josh Barnett, Davey Boy Smith. I just recently had Rocky Romero on. So and that's just in the wrestling world. I have a bunch of musicians, Mastodon, 9 Inch Nails. I've been very blessed to have some of the best talent in all of entertainment. And I would say that, follow the podcast. If you like wrestling like I do, you'll enjoy it. If you like music, if you like beer, if you like art, if you like movies, comedy, it's all there. So give me a follow. Let's start an empire. I want to say thank you. We just recently hit like 15,000 followers. And I'm working with Josh Barnett on a secret project that'll be announced soon. I'm also working on another secret project that involves a beverage. So there's a lot coming. There's a lot happening. Stay tuned. Become part of it, man. Join the bandwagon. Let's go.
Let's go. And we will go with somebody that isn't secretive with what he's doing. Leader of all of the things, the Conrad Thompson podcast on its YouTube presence, Steve Kaufmann.
I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter almost exclusively at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. If you've heard Conrad Thompson do a podcast and you watched a clip on YouTube, that was all me.
Nice.
I have a thumbnail guy now, but for a long time, it was 100% me. And that's what I do day in and day out. And it's actually a nice reprieve to get back to my roots, as it were, as an on-screen pundit here for WrestleMania. So thank you, Adam, for having me.
Oh, no, the pleasure's all mine. And again, we had an amazing and auspicious Royal Rumble panel. I didn't think we could top it. I think we did. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And, these guys, you guys are all subscribed to the podcast, as I am of yours, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
amen.
sure.
And it was the friends we made along the way.
Yes. Right. Damn right. Yes, absolutely. But if you don't believe our words for it, and I don't know why you wouldn't, here's for wrestler Zeta Zang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zang. Make sure you subscribe to According